How are you feeling about things, Randy? That's what I've been getting today. And I'm sad. Like, it is heavy, right? And it's ridiculous that it's heavy because I look at this all the time. I have to deal with the division in this country, with racism in this country. I'm a person that, I mean, that is my life, that is my career. And so I shouldn't be surprised, but it is almost like being in an abusive relationship where you know someone is not good for you, but when they cheat on you, it still hurts, right? When you get that reminder. For me, I liken it to when I go to my parents, to the cemetery where my parents are buried. It hurts me on a whole different level. Of course, I know that they're deceased. I live with that every day. But when I go to the cemetery, it makes it fresh and raw and hurts in a whole nother way. And I think times like this election, it makes racism and how divided we are in this country. It makes it's raw, right? We have to face it because this is the thing. When people talk about the American dream, I don't think people realize how much Black people believe in the American dream. We built this country. This is our country. And we want to believe that it's not as divided and racist as it is. We'd like to, for a moment, to believe that our friends and coworkers are really sympathizing with us. We felt good when we saw the protests this summer that maybe finally our pain, right, that we live with all the time was being seen and respected, and that we had true allies that were with us. So it hurts when it shows that the country is divided. It hurts that people who told us that they were going to vote one way according to the polls and probably some one-on-one conversations we all had, they lied. The numbers when it comes to election day, just like in 2016, show that people lied, particularly white women. And so there is a sadness that goes along with that. It goes along with just realizing that this dream of this American dream that we all want doesn't exist. This country was built on racism. White supremacy was created solely so people could justify the business of enslaving Africans. It's the only way it could be justified, right? And so what comes with that is a power that mediocre white people, not saying all white people are mediocre. Don't write me with that bullshit. I'm saying, but those whom are, because we all have mediocre people, can still have a level of power, even against highly successful, regarded, accomplished, brilliant Black people. It is what makes certain people comfortable coming from, a place where they haven't accomplished much, calling the president of the United States, who has graduated from 2 Ivy Leagues, a nigger, and drawing pictures of him looking like a monkey. That's all white supremacy. It is what allows a white person who doesn't make a third of my income to walk around a store and be unbothered, whereas I'm followed. It allows for a white person to drive down the street and not get stopped by the police, where many Black people feel as if we will, and we do get stopped at higher rates. There is a protection and assumption of innocence always for white people because of white supremacy. And clearly and obviously, and actually I'll argue understandably, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to give it up. The problem, though, is they're not realizing that in the long run, it hurts them, right? In the long run, it bites them in the ass, and they're starting to see it. This is why I think we are getting some true allies, but it hasn't hit them yet, right? And so I feel sorry for the entire freaking country, because what used to work, the absolute white supremacy, where you're holding people down, where you're silencing people, as Trump is doing today. And this is not on Trump. Trump is just a leader of something that already existed. Trump is just a person who has fueled the fire, something that was already there, and given license to the white supremacists to show themselves, and said to them, let's take our power back. Let's make America great again, right? But the problem is the numbers. This is why they're freaking out so much, because there are more millennials that are brown and Black. There are more people who are embracing that they're part of the LGBTQ community. There are more people who are comfortable being their whole authentic selves, right? Then they can manage. They will not be able to control us forever. And so the change is a coming. I'm not saying it's going to come today or tomorrow, but it's already slowly moving. This bus is moving, and anybody who has any sense would get on the bus and say, you know what? I want to learn how to work with people that are different from me. I want to work and how to be able to get along, because guess what? We ain't going nowhere. As a matter of fact, like I said, we're coming in droves. You will have to, unless you want to live in some very rural place with no one around you. Most people in America will have to live with, work with, be entertained by, have in their families through marriage or whatever, people of color, gay people, trans people and transgender, people who may be in a different religion. It is going to happen. So for the health of yourself, your families, your country, your career, it behooves you to accept our past, our ugly past, own it, and accept that you need to and we need to do better. We have to do better because we're all here. Ain't nobody going. And so today what I feel is sad because I'm reminded of how divided we are, but I certainly don't feel deflated because I understand what needs to happen and what's going to happen. This is Randy B. Let's keep talking, y'all. It's always time for a conversation.